Okay, I think we are live. Are we live? Let's see here. Yes. 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 We're just getting set up here. Thanks for stopping by. If you're here, give me one moment. All right. I'm just going to put a little notification here. All right. All right. Well, welcome. We are, well, first of all, I'm Brandon from Pixel Jar. I have been doing WordPress development for a long time, since about 2007 now. And over that time, we've built several plugins for the public domain, as well as for our customers and day-to-day work. Hey, Dave. So we thought it would be kind of cool to go through some of our old plugins that we built over the years, and through work, kind of modernize those things as we're chatting, and talk about WordPress, different things that are coming along, and you know, just kind of have some fun. The goal here is to hang out and do this work for about an hour. We want to do these pretty regularly. I don't know what that regular schedule is yet, but we will we'll see how it's going. And hopefully, yeah, make this a good regular thing so we can kind of talk and learn together. One of my roles in the WordPress community over these years has been to co-organize meetups, run WordCamps here in Orange County. And that you know, that education piece is something I really enjoy, talking with people and sort of building them up to do really cool things. So, you know, this stream thing can evolve into whatever it needs to be, but for now, I think we'll start with some plugin development type stuff, because that's what I've got in my queue today. But if you got questions, please drop them in the chat, and let me know if this is my first stream setup. So hopefully the audio is coming through nice and clear, but let me know if it's not, if it's too loud, too quiet, too whatever. I'm happy to try to make some adjustments. And we'll do that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. The plugin that I'm going to be working on today is an oldie but a goodie. It's an RSS icon widget. And all right, great, good feedback. So this plugin on WordPress.org, very, very old videos and things that will update over time. But essentially what this lets you do is to put an RSS icon in your sidebar or wherever using a widget. And, you know, as WordPress has evolved, we're not using widgets as much as we used to. So we need to do things like add shortcodes or add blocks to be able to embed these places in these widgets in more areas. So that is one of our goals for this. But also, like I said, modernizing the code. It was built many, many years ago, but still works for the most part. And we want to make sure that it works even better for people in the future. We had a feature request come in for this just a couple weeks ago. So that's kind of what triggered the idea of using this for one of these streams. Yeah, so we'll get to it. I am using local for development. So I've got my local site already set up. And that's where I do most of my plugin development for our free plugins as well as the commercial ones. So that's what we'll be working in. Right now, my WordPress install is pretty blank, very blank. And the only thing that we have active in it is the RSS icons plugin. I'm sort of changing the name of it to RSS icons because the widget terminology doesn't really make sense as much in today's modern WordPress. So that will be one of the changes that I've already made, but will be going in. I don't need this cron status checker, so I'll just deactivate that. So that's cool. So I'm also using VS Code for my editor. It seems to be pretty standard these days for a lot of WordPress developers. So it's what I've been using. I have a lot of little extensions that I've sort of built into this thing, and it does a whole lot of cool stuff. But we'll kind of touch on those as we get going and have questions about that stuff. So at this point, we've got our plugin open, and I've already made several changes to the plugin. I have not committed those yet, but still working through. So the first thing I did when I loaded this up was that I started going through some of the code, some of the widgets and things, and cleaning up to new hooks and new naming conventions. PHP 8 compatibility is something that we weren't supporting because it didn't exist when we built this, but obviously in today's world we need to be able to do that. So that is on the docket. That's what we're working on. And so far we've made some good progress. I think this plugin was a one file plugin, meaning that everything was literally in the main plugin file. It didn't have a whole lot of other files for things like RSS icon classes for the widgets. All these widgets were literally in the main file. So I've broken those out into separate files here. And, the internationalization stuff is for multiple languages is something that we've added over time. And so we're going to keep working through that. Let's see. I think I've only got a couple more things left here in this main RSS icon widget file to clean up. Let's see here. We're going through and making sure, because some of this stuff was incorrectly named, we're using the correct text domains now for these, which is great. It means translations can actually work as needed. And one of the things that still I just pulled out of this, which I have to do with this other dynamic icon widget, which we'll talk about in a minute, is I still need to work through some of the escaping, because how I had it previously was we were using this extract function in PHP, which wasn't great because that just allows any variable to be created without my knowledge. So we want to strip that out and limit it specifically to the ones that we know. So the widget arguments, so the reason I have these red underlined type things, and again, let me know if the font sizes are too small in this code sample, but I can increase it a little bit here. So this before widget, this comes from WordPress, the sidebar creation process within the theme itself. And this could be any sort of markup really that, the theme author wants to create. It's typically something like an ordered list, or maybe a div or something like that, just to wrap around the widget itself so that you can target it with CSS and different things like that. But this one is a tough one to escape because we don't know theme to theme what that's going to be wrapped in. So I might come back to this one, actually, this part. Let's see here. We have a couple different parameters here that are settable in the instance. So the first is the actual feed URL. So when you're creating a feed widget, this could be a widget or a feed straight from your own WordPress site. But it could be another feed, coming from a different service or something. RSS is not as big of a standard today and use as much today as it was when we originally built this plugin. But it's still in use in some cases. And, if you want people to be able to subscribe to your RSS feed, this is a good way to do it. So the first thing is a feed URL that comes out of the settings. We're good there. We've escaped it. It's going to be within this attribute, which is why we use the escape attribute context. Let's see. We have a setting whether you want to open in a new window or not. And so that's all set well and good. And then our styling is based on the instance here as well. Size is good. Okay, so here we actually have a URL that's being built by the size. And we've got some link text that's being output in between the anchor tag. So let's see. Currently, one of the issues that we're having with this plugin is since the change to the block-based widget editor, we're getting some errors. And again, one of the reasons why we want to add blocks here is because these legacy widgets is kind of what they're calling them. Classic widgets or classic widget interface don't always work because it doesn't see the JSON correctly. So we have an RSS icon widget here. You can kind of see that these are legacy widgets because they've got this icon here. But if we were to put this in place, you see we get this red error at the top. So this is something that I just discovered before I started the stream. So we're going to see if we can dig into how to solve that and what it is. My quick Google searching has led me to a plugin called Classic Widgets, I believe. So we'll probably lean on that a little bit for testing. But I think we want to try to solve that if we can without having to use an extra plugin, as I've seen so far. So let's go ahead and install that plugin first here to see the interface we're working with. There we go. It's built by the WordPress contributor team. Obviously, it's very in use across a lot of sites who are probably still using widget areas that are maybe not as used if you're using full site editing these days. But we know it's a solid plugin. It's been updated very recently and by a team of WordPress contributors, which is great. Okay, so we've got that Classic Widgets plugin added and activated. And so now when we go to the widgets interface, you see we no longer have the block-based interface, and instead it's sort of gone backwards. So instead of having a block-based interface and having legacy widgets, now it's sort of legacy widgets are the active thing. And anywhere where there's blocks, it's now incorporated this new widget block, which is very not easy to understand. So that's fine. For our purposes, it doesn't really matter what these other things are. So we can leave those there. But we can open up our RSS icon widget. This is looking correct here. And let's add it to footer 1. Okay. So here's the settings that we have. We can tell up here at the top, we've got our icon sizes. That's the same thing we've got here. We have whatever you want the text to be. We saw that down here in the link text. We are escaping it for HTML, which means that you cannot just drop in random HTML inside this text field. But any text you want is fine here. And then we've got a color picker, so you can kind of select whatever color you want the RSS widget to be. And you've got the feed URL. So it defaults to your local site's main feed. But you can use any feed within your site, whether it's a category, again, some other site. You can pull in remote feeds from Google Alerts. That's one way that we've seen this used, is do a Google search under Google Alerts, and you can put a feed in here that has some other content. So that might be a good way to source some content into your site and link out to those sources. Then finally here, open this in a new window. Okay, so it's not super visual here. This is definitely something we want to make more visual once we get into building a block for this this particular plugin. But we get to choose the size and some different options. So let's go ahead and set one up for ourselves so we can see what's working and what's not. And I probably want to turn on my WP debug so that I can see any errors that might come up. All right, it's already on. So that's great. So we should see errors if we run into them. All right, we'll just change this text to make sure that that's working. Choose a nice purpley color. Why not? And we can go to pixeljar.com/feed to get us going there. And we'll go ahead and open a new window. Again, the first step of this for me testing is to make sure I'm changing all these values so I can make sure that they're saving correctly. So go ahead and save that. And I think we're good there. So let's take a look at the front end and see if we can see that. Okay, cool. So we're running into errors, which is amazing. So let's kind of dig into what those are. So in line 64 of our widget, 64. Okay. So here it's just saying we have one too few. You can see what it is. Okay. So one too few settings in here. So we're using printf, and it's looking for placeholders like this, %1 $s, %s, %d, whatever those things are, placeholders. And you can see as I'm selecting this, I've got 3 different places, but it's looking, and I have 3 here as well. But I think this % sign might be triggering something. So we add another % there. That should fix it. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So we've gotten rid of the error, which is fantastic. We've got our link text, we've got our link, and after the widget. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this theme is using. Okay. So we have, here's our footer. This is the wrapper for the entire column 1. I guess that's what footer 1 is called there. We've got the 2 block widgets here, which is a search, and I'm not sure what this next one. Oh, I think this is for one of our plugins that's not actually installed right now, so we'll go ahead and delete that. Okay, cool. So we've got our search and we've got our RSS icon widget. So this particular theme is wrapping a div with some classes, and again, div class widget content. And this is the content that we're outputting here for our particular link output. So that is here, our link, super basic, but I can see that our padding is not working because it looks like we're missing a PX at the end of our padding call. So let's see here. So here we have style color is the link color, which we selected. Looks like the link color is, although it looks purpley like a visited link. So let's make it green just to make it easier to make sure it's working. Okay, cool. So the text color is changing there. So for the second one, which is padding, we're looking at the image size divided by 2 pixels, 0 pixels, and the image size divided by 2 pixels. So that's top, right, bottom, and then left, it looks like we're missing a PX here. So if we come back here, it looks like, okay, cool. So that is now adding the correct padding, which is great. Some of these things are new bugs. They're not existing in the publicly available URL, but as I've been rewriting this, you know, I've been sort of refactoring some of the parts of the code that are working. And it looks like when I copied this line, this whole link used to be a single line of text, and it stretched on into infinity to the right of my editor. So I broke it down into a couple different pieces just to make it a little easier to read and document, actually. So just as people are coming through, and if they want to like learn from it, if they want to modify it, this should make it a little easier to read through. As I'm doing that though, I'm copying and pasting a lot of code, and sometimes I miss some things, which seems like what I did in this case. Okay. So new window. Okay. So now I can hover over that. It looks like it is linking out to PixelJar's feed, and looks like it will download that feed because I don't have a reader of any kind installed on my computer. But it is working, which is great. Okay. Got all that, looks good. This matters. Okay, so the text is changed, which is great. Let's just make sure that the size of the RSS icon is changing appropriately. All right, that looks like it is. And kind of as part of my testing, well, it's very small. Part of my testing is just going through each one of these, because what that ends up doing is loading in a different image here. Originally, believe, let's see if I can find where we got, I believe the original icon was developed. Okay. It was developed a long time ago, but these images, there's like a website you can go to that has like basically a chooser of RSS icons. Let's see if I can find one. Wow, that is a lot. Okay, I think it was this one here, actually. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, so this option does actually have SVG versions here. That is maybe an interesting thing that we should look at for a release, is to, instead of changing or instead of having this be a PNG, having it be an SVG, or even maybe just doing new versions that are WebP or things like that, so that they're a little faster. I know these are tiny icons and they're small file sizes, but you know, every little bit counts. So anyway, I think that's good for now, but we might come back to that at some point here. So let's change this back. I think the big one looks good. We're not having any issues with saving data, which is great. And I'm just going to make myself a note here. And we'll just put, look into the best way to escape this data. And I'm going to put it also at the top here. Okay. So we've got those two things that are flagged. Okay. So this is a new way that we're handling updates. So we actually set up all the defaults here. We didn't used to have that. By default, it would pull in the latest URL. Is that what I'm using for the form? Let's see. Feed URL. Okay, settings. Okay, yeah, so defaults are here. RSS2 URL, is that still, oops. Let's let's take a look and see if there's a different one we should be defaulting to. Well, looks like that is still the correct feed here. Looks like you can get it in a bunch of different formats, but that still looks to be the standard there. So great. And we're using some sensible defaults here. It looks like we're also using the same defaults here though. So we can probably move these up here. And I don't usually develop with a microphone in my face, so I'm not able to see things here. Okay, so we are, we're gonna call this widget defaults. Var. Let's call this widget defaults. Okay, so we're creating a new class variable called defaults. Oh, I think I mentioned, but then I lost my train of thought. But that's why I did this. Okay, so I was mentioning why I have squiggly lines like spell check here, and what that's telling me is there's some sort of an error with this particular line of code. The nice thing is I can see that sort of in my map view on the right hand side. But I wasn't even thinking about this for whatever reason. But making defaults an array with data in it is bad. So public defaults. Okay, why? Yeah. So making an array as an initial value is not allowed. So I'm going to make this null to start. And then within this here, and I need to call it the correct thing. Okay, so we're going to set it every time we create a new one. Every time we create a new RSS icon widget, we're going to set some defaults for it. And that should be able to, that should allow us to anyway. You know, let me make sure I'm not overwriting something. Widget options. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good with that. Yeah, I think we're good with that. Okay, so every time we create a new RSS icon widget, we'll have these defaults set one time. So in case we want to change them later, we don't have to rewrite our code. So this one here, instead of calling defaults here, we can do then instance, and then we'll call this arrow defaults. Nope, widget. Okay. Widget. What? If not array exist key, because we're looping through our updated instance, this should be referencing the defaults. Okay, we'll come back to when that breaks in just a second. If something we don't know is there, unset it. Otherwise, set it and sanitize it and unslash it. Okay, so here we've got widget defaults here. So that should carry over just fine. Okay, so we've got 3 errors currently flagged here in the sidebar. We've got this one here, which we've already written to do for. We've got this one, which we also have written to do for. And we have this one. It's saying that there's an error here, but I don't believe it. So we are going to test it. Okay, so we're going to test this by going back to the widgets page. And the way that this particular method is triggered is when you save your widget, it goes through this code. So we're just going to make some changes. And that should work. We'll hit save and see if it explodes. Okay, it didn't explode here, but did it explode in the log? Okay, I just emptied out the log just so I can test. And let me do that again. Okay, so the errors I'm getting here is because I don't have, I have local set up to have Xdebug on, but I'm not debugging at the moment. So I'll just turn debugging off until I need it. And I'll clear up the log. Okay, let's do one more change. Okay, so we saved, no errors in the log, hooray. So I think this is my code sniffer is alerting me here because it's telling me that there's an expected type of array, but it found something that at the top is actually set to null. So it kind of hates that. Maybe, does that help it? Yeah. Okay. So since I'm setting it to null, I just have to tell my editor kind of what type of variable this is. So up here, I did that. The thing I'm curious about though is I think the thing that this hates, honestly, isn't the fact that it's an array. I think it's because there are function calls in here. Oops. Because you can't really run functions here. Okay, so that does fix it, but I kind of want to have that internationalization in there. So I think I'm okay with switching that. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so var array sizes here. again, part of this refactoring is just cleaning things up so that people can use this as a resource to build their own plugins if they want to. That's certainly how I learned a lot of WordPress stuff, by picking apart old WordPress themes like Kubrick, and other plugins that were easy enough at the time for me to go through. And I think just another couple things I'm going to do here in terms of ease of reading. I kind of did this a little bit already, but have those so they don't wrap. Same thing here. Okay. I'm trying to standardize on the structure of these two. So I'm trying to do ID, name, and value before other things, just to make it easier to just parse through with your brain while you're reading it. So I'm kind of going through and updating some of these things. So ID, name. Okay. ID, name. A lot of development stuff like this I find repetitive. And so I think patterns make it really more easy, make them easier to kind of understand what you're looking at. Yeah. Okay. It just makes things easier to read as they're more consistent. So that's kind of why I'm doing some of those things. The only other thing that's kind of special here, if you haven't been doing a lot of development stuff, is this, or I guess WordPress development stuff, is there's the helper function here checked. If you're doing an if statement or a tertiary here in your code for something that's checked, or up here would be selected. So we have one here. WordPress has some nice helper functions to allow you to output the text of like selected equals selected or checked equals checked, just by passing it two values, and then it checks to see if they're true or they're the same, and then it will output the correct stuff. So you don't have to rewrite that if statement or tertiary every time you need to output a form field being selected, essentially. Okay, so I think this file looks good. Functionality is dynamite over here. So let's just choose a different one just to make sure. Still working. Okay. And I still want a bigger icon. Okay. Cool. So the nice thing, again, the idea of this plugin is it's a small set of features. Obviously, we're not breaking any crazy records of cool features or anything, but just the ability to put this RSS icon on your site with some text to link off to an RSS feed, like really simple, really easy. That's kind of the idea here. So that one, I think this basic RSS icon widget is dynamite. It's working pretty good. So then the other one that we have as part of this pack is what we call the dynamic RSS icon widget. And this is not one that I have really started changing at all, but is going to very much mimic what we're doing over here. The only difference is that this one will dynamically, so let's say I wanted this RSS feed to change based on like the category I was looking at, or for example, could be a category tag, any custom taxonomy, whatever archive page you're looking at. This would actually dynamically represent that URL. So the URL would change in there, which is pretty cool. You can, let's take a look at what that one does. It's probably broken at the moment, but let's take a look. So here we go. Okay. So the widget gets added fine. Interface is very similar. We've got an icon size. So if you want to make it very similar in color, we can do that. But then in the text, you can say something like archive RSS or something like that. Something it's more generic that would apply to multiple RSS feeds, categories, things like that. And then let's just do these all in blue, shall we? So we'll save that one. You'll notice this one does not have a feed link because that's created dynamically. So we'll go ahead and save that and see what happens. Nothing happens. Okay. So let's take a look at our error logs because probably something broke. Nothing in the error logs. Okay. All right. Let's take a look then and start breaking down some of these methods. I'm seeing a lot of red here in the sidebar. You can kind of quickly see there's a bunch of issues in this section here. And here you're going to see if not is archive and not is home. Could that be why it's not showing up? Because the home page is a static page on this particular site. So if I go to the blog, all right, now I'm seeing that I have 2 links. So it's kind of one of the features that I had forgotten that we built. But essentially this only shows up in archive type situations. So let's see what kind of archives we have. We have 1 post. Okay, so we're going to populate the site with some data. There is a plugin I use for this sometimes. I have to find out what the name of it is. But FakerPress, I think this is it. So again, we're on a local install, so I'm just going to install this plugin. Definitely if you're adding plugins to your site, test them out in staging first. But here, I think we're good. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, so the cool thing about this is you can generate as many random fake users as you want, as many random fake terms as you want of different types, I believe. So these are all the categories I have, I think, on this site. Is that true? No, that's not true. These are all the categories. Okay, so categories, tags, and formats. Excuse me. I don't usually talk this much. This is new for me. Okay. So this allows me to create some terms. I'm going to do that first. So let's say I'm going to use 5 terms. You can also do a range, so it's more random, but we don't need that much there. So the size of the term name 2. I'm just going to say 2 because I don't want super long term names. And it's going to say, okay, do you want, so we're going to do 5 categories of lengths 2. I'll do 1 to 2. And we don't have to worry about meta fields or anything like that. So we'll just do that. It will generate. Cool. Here's the IDs that it generated. If I now go into my categories, I've got some sweet fake. That's 3 words. What's even happening here? All right. Well, that's fine. And then we're going to do maybe, let's say 15, name 1 to 2. And we're just going to do tags this time, not categories, and we'll generate those. Boom. Now we've got tags. Let's take a look at those. Okay, we've got some tags. So that's neato. And now we're going to go into posts and we're going to generate, let's say like 50 posts, and we're going to have them be this year sometime. Nope, I lied. We're going to do from January 1st of last year to, what's today? Today is March, and it is Thursday. Is it really the 28th? Holy smokes. All right, we're doing that. We're going to allow comments. Doesn't matter. Sure, use HTML. Paragraphs, fine. Cool. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this here. We're going to say categories. We're only going to assign one because that's what Dave would say to do. And then we're going to add tags, and we can do any tags there. We'll do 85%, and we'll just do like, let's do 1 to 3 tags. You don't want to go crazy with tags. Okay, so we're generating 50 posts. Let's see. It's going to take a little bit longer because it's got to create a bunch of HTML. It's got to find an image off of placeholder.com or Lorem Pixum. So we'll see how long this takes. Hopefully it won't take too long, but I'm going to use this time to take a drink. All right. Are we almost there? Oh, there's a bunch. Yeah, that's 15. So it did 15 in, what would you say, a minute? 30 seconds? Feels like a long time on this side of the camera. All right, I should have been more judicious. Is that a word? Should have chosen a smaller number. How about that? All right, we're waiting for that to happen. While we're waiting for that, let's jump back over into the code. And you can kind of see what I was dealing with. This is a non-edited version of this widget. The RSS icon, like I said, I had already kind of cleaned that up. But what I'm seeing here is I'm extracting all argument, like whatever is in this args variable, I'm just making it available to code, which not great from a security standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. What we'll see if I was to run this, let's go ahead and run it, because you can see right here I've got before widget as a variable, but it's not declared anywhere. And I know from my work here, I know that that should actually be args before widget. So we can kind of see, okay, that's working. It's on 45. Good. We're getting close. So this should error out at the bottom of the page. Okay. So what you're seeing here is a warning that there's an undefined variable before widget. So it doesn't know what to actually put there. And same thing here after widget. So as expected, we can just take this and replace this. So we still have to figure out what our scheme is going to be for escaping this, if anything. But most of this data is kind of the same. So we can, let's see this one. Oh, this is the one piece of data that's not. So it's telling me there's an error here. It's saying that there might not be this variable name in this server, this global server thing. So what we can do here is if is set server request URI. We got that there, and we'll just by default, we'll just default that to the main site RSS feed, I suppose. Okay, cool. It still hates that for some reason. Let's take a look. All right, so it says server request URI is not unslash before sanitization. Use WP unslash or similar. All right, so we do WP unslash. And we put that. My editor still doesn't like it, but we have cleared out some errors. It's saying detected usage of non-sanitized input variable. Okay, so at this point, it wants us to sanitize this. And WordPress has a good amount of sanitization options. I think we're still going to use text field. Did I miss it? Yep. Okay, sanitize text field. All right, so we cleared out the errors there. We've now sanitized, which is good. We've unslashed it. We've passed it in here. It's kind of a long line now, so I'm just going to break this up to make it a little easier to parse in my brain. You might be real good at this kind of jumping through these code things, but sometimes I need a little bit of help. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? So I'm trying to make this so I don't have an additional concatenation. Okay, so slash feed is what I want. And oops, %s. Okay, we don't need the feed anymore, which is cool. And why? Okay. All right, so now we have the URL equals sprintf, whatever that was going to be before, slash feed, and then we have trailing slash it, home URL, sanitize text field, WPN slash that. Okay. Phew. All right, we did it. We did it, everybody. It was long. Okay. So we are good there. We should have removed the error for before widget. So if we refresh here, we've gotten rid of that one, which is great. You can see the URL is working as expected. And let's keep going. Okay, so here is some of the cleanup work I did before. We have that. We'll do %s. Okay. Much cleaner. Okay. So we've got our URL, which is great. We have, this actually works fine, but we want to make sure this is more of a strict comparison. And we want to use Yoda conditionals because WordPress says so. And Yoda conditionals is it's sort of backwards, right? You want to check the value versus the interpreted thing here. So sometimes my editor yells at me and says, hey, do it like Yoda. New window. Is that what I put before? Open the RSS link. Perfect. All right. So far, so good. So we've got opening URL. We've got, is it opening in a new window? We then need to, I guess we do that, huh? Yeah. All right, style. Okay, so here's where I was doing the print F business before, and I'll have to be more careful with my copy pasting this time. So style equals, let's just close that. We do color. And then we're going to do whoops, not there. $1 $S. Okay, so that's good for color. Then we'll do padding. I think this already wants to make it work for me. All right, so padding is going to be %2 $S, which is almost right. So let's do that. Let's take its hints. That's Copilot, GitHub Copilot, by the way. I'm sure people don't like that, but it's going to happen anyway. Okay, so %2 $X, PX. Okay, so that is the first one. Then we got 0 PX. Then we're going to do %3 $S PX. Then %4 $S PX. Okay, we didn't forget it. All right, so now we need to fill in those variables. We might be able to simplify this actually. So the first one is that. This is, it wants to say adding top and bottom. Adding right, top, and top and bottom. Then we only care about bottom left. +5. Okay. So what's cool about that actually is we go %1. That's good. We need this to be escaped. Okay, cool. Then top, right, bottom can also be the same. Use the same placeholder for that. And then we'll change left to 3. And we'll need to escape attribute that. Attribute that. We're almost done with that. Now we need a background. And that background is escape attribute. Nope. So close. Okay. Nope, I lied. What do I need here? I need URL up to there, I suppose. Oops, I use some extra spacing for WordPress goodness. Then we want image, we want 3 because 3 is the image size. Nope, that is not correct. We need nope. Need the image size. So that's going to go into 4. No repeat, 0, 50%. It's close. X. Dot PNG slash. Does that look correct? Okay. So let's see, image size is there. We've got that there and there. Okay, I think we, why doesn't it like this? Doesn't like that. What did I do here? Let's find out what I did here. Okay. So for consistency's sake, do I think of like, which way do I like it better? Which way do you like it better, Dave? If you're still here. I kind of think this way is not better. But you like it left. Is that the RSS icon widget one? This one here? You're going to be maintaining this from now on, Dave, so. Hmm. All right, I think we do this. It's gonna blow your mind. So we can do percent $4 $S here. Change these to 5. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 5. Okay. Okay. Then at that point we are done. So we can just echo. You're right. Totally right. Okay. Then we output the link text. And we close the RSS link. Does that work? Totally works. Okay. We still have this error, which we have to get rid of. So we'll switch this here to after widget. Okay. Cool. We got rid of that error too. I like that. Any errors anymore? Let's run it back. No errors. No errors. Hooray. Okay, cool. So we have cleaned that up quite a bit. And you can see the difference here. Let me close down some of these things that we don't need to worry about at the moment. All right, so we're going to look at the update widget settings here versus the update widget settings in the one that I refactored. Okay, so update widget settings. So clearly here we're doing a lot of eliminating security risk. And here we're just taking everything new, just sure, let's just shove it in the database. So not great from a security standpoint, but the great news is all of this is basically the same. So the only thing we're doing in this sequence is removing unknown keys and sanitizing. So those two things alone are good security improvements, but we don't have access in this widget to this widget defaults yet because I didn't create that up here. So again, the good news is I can copy a lot of that code from the other widget. And if you remember, we initialized that array in the construct method. Okay. Cool. So that works here. That should work here. Yep, we're almost there. Okay. And here in the update, yep, we did that one. Okay, so now we have the widget form. And the widget form is what's displaying in the admin area. Oh, good, we finished all our posts. Under here in the appearance section, this form here is generated by the code in the form method of the widget. So the widget form, okay, we don't need that for now. For these defaults, okay, so I'm already seeing something I need to get rid of here. These are the actual defaults that we want to use in this construct function. And we'll see what the difference is here. So image size, cool, that's still there. Link text, that's still there. Link color still there. New window still there. But we don't actually have a feed URL because that's dynamic. So we can actually get rid of that. And that will save us one other parameter to be looking at. So we don't want to extract because we don't want to pollute our space here. What we want to do is change defaults to this widget defaults. All right, so just like that, we kind of cleaned some things up. Here we have the same thing, this widget defaults. So we don't have multiple declarations of what's new. Cool. Okay. And we can start cleaning this up now. Okay. So these are already escaped, which is great. These were not escaped in the other one. We still have ID name at the top. And here, okay. So this here is telling me we don't have that variable. So we need to look at instance. Okay, so that's the actual value from the instance that's coming in. That should cover that. Okay, these are escape. I think I did this escaping and formatting before I started the stream. The value is link text, but here again, we need this to be instance. The highlighting of these by PHP CS, that's the editor plugin I have for this, which is checking, basically spell checking my code while I work. Makes it really easy to find these errors. Okay, class name, ID, value, name. Good. One equals. And I need a semicolon here. All right. I know this is still here, but I promise you there's a semicolon here. If I change anything else and save it, it will go away. There we go. All right, so we have removed almost all the red from this this plugin file, which is exactly what we wanted to do. We still have the two leftover before and after widget args. And that covers. So let's go ahead and let's remove this one. We'll add a new one. Dynamic. Let's go back and refresh this page. Okay. Dynamic RSS icon widget. We'll add it. Okay, we've got some issues here. This is why we test. Okay, so link text. It's not able to find something. Undefined array key. Okay. Good. Let's see why. Okay, so dynamic. We're not looking at the widget. We're looking at the form itself. Okay, got it. So here, I missed this part. So here we actually, instead of calling this instance, we called this settings. So anywhere we have instance here, go there, go there, go there. We're going to replace with settings like that. And we'll try this again. Delete that. Go back to widgets. Whoops. I'm going to add that. Okay, got rid of that issue. Again, we'll go 32 by 32. Archive RSS sounds like a great name. I'm going to make this one green, actually. And then we'll open it in a new window. Okay, any errors in the logs? Always want to check. Okay. So here's those errors that were showing up in the UI. Make sure we have removed those. So let's add another widget. We'll do that again. 32. Archive. SS. Go green. Save. All right, everything is saved here. No errors in the log. That's what you want to see. Okay, so we can refresh. We can see archive RSS is now green. You can see maybe at the bottom, it might be kind of tiny in the view you're looking at, but if I copy this link and paste it, you can see it's trunk.local/blog. Okay, there's an extra slash in here, which I don't love. So let's see where that's coming from. Widget. Okay. So here we are getting the URL, which is slashed here. And then you have another slash right here. So we don't need that. So I'm saving that. And then let's refresh. Now if I copy this link and paste it, all right, we've got one slash in there. It's no big deal. This one here, yeah, that's just whatever you put in. All right, so we've got the blog RSS feed here. If we go to a single post, okay, I've got some cool content there. Now I'm seeing at the bottom here, tag, tag, tag. Okay, so I can see the tags. I don't know if this one has, here we go, the category here. So if I go to this category link, this should show me all the blog posts in that category, which it is. So many fantastic things. And if I hover over here and copy this, we have trunk, category, whatever that says, and feed. So that's looking good. It's dynamic. It's pulling up whatever category I've set here. And if I go to the bottom, and if I click on one of these tags, we shall see that there are many tagged items there. And this URL, whoops, is showing tag. Okay, cool. So it is dynamic the way we want it to be. And our tags working. We've got categories working. Let's take a look. What else we got? Okay. So now we've got our two widgets working in the Classic editor. Let's take a look to see what happens if we deactivate our Classic Widgets plugin. So now that we have cleaned up these two classes for widgets, I'm really hoping, though I'm not promising anybody by any means, that that will have fixed these. Maybe. Okay, so it looks like RSS icon widget is totally fixed. You can now select all those. Trunk feed. Make sure we can save all the choices there. We'll match the RSS icon color. And we'll do trunk.logo. I'll open it in a new window. And now you can see we've got an updated set of things, which is pretty cool. Went to blue. It's a little big for this display, so that might be something we need to figure out. So that's cool. The dynamic one also does appear to be working. It's saying that there's no preview available, but the reason for that is because, as we defined in here, if not is archive and not is home, we have to return. So what we could do here is put in a condition for if we're in the admin, set a URL. Yeah, because we do have a basic URL. So how about this? So, and not is admin. So it's not an archive. It's not the home page, and it's not the admin. So if it's the admin, that should now make it display at least the settings with a default site feed. So let's see what happens if we do that. So we'll leave that page, refresh, and Let's delete that and add a new one. Okay, widget is here. Dynamic RSS widget. We'll do it 32. Archive feed. Make it green. So it's still not loving that, which, why is that the case? Widget. Well, let's do. Not is archive. That's true. And not is home. That should also be true. And not is admin. That should be false. Determines whether the current request is for an administrative interface page. Is widgets.php not considered that? It's a good question. So let's do this and just see what happens. What? Okay, let me delete this one. And we'll add a dynamic RSS icon widget. No preview available. Yeah. Fine. We'll really ramp up the display. It is false. His admin is false. Cool. Yeah, so that's fun. What? Not sure what happened. The stream might have blipped. That's in because it's front end. Widget is called on the front end. So is it putting it in like a iframe or something? Feels bad. Where is this? Okay, so do this. I right click. Okay, what if I right click here? All right. Okay. So this block preview is in an iframe. It's bad for me, not bad in general. Logged in. Right. Okay. This is a rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole. How do we get through this one? Widget, block, editor, iframe. When does the block editor get iframe? No. Blocks in iframe template editor. Oh, this feels interesting. Okay, so you can use widgets. Okay, okay. I'm reading. This is where it looks like paint's drying on stream, by the way. Okay. Okay, so maybe I can do something like this. Hmm. Okay. Cross your fingers. Oh, hated that. It hated it. Okay, let's delete this. Let's see if we can add a new one. Legacy dynamic. Yeah, it doesn't like that. It's too much. Too much. Okay, let's just do this then. Nope. Wait a minute. Delete that. Okay. Add dynamic. Okay. Hold on. Hold your horses. Wait. Okay. Okay. Delete this guy. I thought it updates automatically. What the heck? Ooh. I think I broke something. That's painful. Okay, let me delete all of these things. Let me update. No, so many errors. Okay. We're fine. Everybody, we're fine. Don't worry. Okay. It's easy. All I gotta do is get rid of this. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Everybody stand down. We're saved. Okay. Dynamic. Cool. We're back in shape. There's okay, so we have just this icon on the page, or this thing. Okay. What am I looking for? Is block editor. Is this gonna work? Okay. All right, here's where we're gonna go do some debugging. Debug here. And now that that's running, I've got configs in here for doing debugging. So now, what? Okay, so now if we hit this page, we can do that just fine. Dynamic, boom. All right, so screen. Jump over that. Okay. What? Fatal error. Because what happened? You know what I should look at is our error log. Okay, so it dies right there. Let's look at, here we go. Call to undefined function, get current screen. Oof, this is really something. Okay. So what that's telling me, feels bad. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to, I mean, this is where the block UI obviously works better than trying to pigeonhole a widget into the block editor. But let's see what we can do. Okay. No, it should be under widget. Okay. So get current screen does not exist at this point because we're on the front end. Okay, let's try some more Googling. Oh, no, I don't want to save that. WordPress. How to detect that your widget is going in the block editor. Is there a way to know if it's in the block editor, the widget editor, or the customize widget editor? Where was that page I had just a moment ago? I think this is it. Okay. Do action. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have a solution for that at the moment. I have to do some more digging. But what I think that means is we're still kind of in the same spot here. We choose dynamic RSS icon. the widget works fine. Archive, RSS, change it to green. Okay, it just, you can see it's there. It just doesn't have a preview because it doesn't match those arguments. I really want to see the icon in the text. Okay, well, I might wait for another day for that, as we're almost coming up to 2 hours on this stream. Okay, so we're gonna put in a to-do here. To-do. Find a way to preview if we're in the widget block editor. Okay, well, the good news is the actual widgets are working at this point. It's fantastic news. We've gone through those. Changelog. Code more compatible, and we didn't do that. Code to be compatible with the WordPress. No, the widget block editor interface. Sure. Okay, so that's good. All right, so this page, or this file that I'm editing right now, is the changelog. We have a custom changelog sort of in the admin. So here under the RSS icons thing, you can jump into the changelog and see what's been done recently. But that's kind of what I'm working on here to change this. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I think that's all the. Let me just look through all these files real quick. Okay, changelog, good. Widget, it's fine. Feed icons. Changelog, we kind of I already did the changelog, so we're good there. We changed those two files. Did the changelog here. README updated as well. Oops, I'll just add this to the changelog file. Oh. Okay, it's code. Okay, oh yeah, this is something I was doing here is translating. Oh, I need more. translate those. Those are already translated. Okay. That's there. Okay, so I think that actually wraps up the changes for this this plugin. I think it's ready to go out into the world. So maybe we can wrap up the stream by doing that. Remove that. There. The rest of this is to change long page. Just adding all the related changes here for change logs. And here you can see where I extracted everything from this individual file. So and okay. Yes, okay. So here. Okay. Actually, that includes that. Stage that and this. Okay, so this is correct. Okay, so here. These are pulled out into their own file. So this is the RSS icon widget code. Stage. Okay, extract. Code to a separate file. This is Extract dynamic. To a separate file. Okay, so that's good. Oops, forgot to add that. There we go. Okay. Moves the book. What is this? Okay. Updates. Oh, to include argument. Okay. Actually, now that I am thinking about where we're wrapping up, it is time to wrap up. So we're gonna do that. But for next time, or probably we'll look at something else next time. But between now and next time, I need to add a short code to this and a block as well. I suppose it may be the next stream here, but that is the last thing before I get this live. But if you are interested in using this plugin, once it gets launched, it's on WordPress.org. You should be able to find it by typing in RSS icon. Like I said, the name will be changed from RSS icon widget to RSS icons because we're not always using widgets these days. But give it a shot and let me know if you have any thoughts on the plugin, things that you'd like to see in it, or if you find a bug, because we found several today while we were building stuff. But we're always going to work through that stuff. So let us know if you find anything. And I know mostly it was a quiet stream, but hopefully we'll get some more interaction in here and get some more notice ahead of time for you to come in and hang out with us. But yeah, let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks again for hanging out, and we'll catch you next time.